there's Bitcoin on the daily chart, falling, price falling. One word for you as we begin this video: normal. This move happening with Bitcoin, normal. And I would even say a good thing. ADA on the daily chart also falling, the rest of crypto falling. We're going to discuss ADA price, not even on this move being normal, but generally where ADA is right now in this cycle. I just want to say this. I know a lot of people will disagree, but the data, you just can't disagree with what I'm about to show you. The ADA price and the movement thus far in this cycle, it's been outperformed by other altcoins. That's for sure. But also normal for where we are in this cycle. So please hit the subscribe, hit the like. Let's just jump into the video. I'm going to start over here on Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin on the daily. Just as a quick reference, this is what's happening. Bitcoin kind of falling out of this reversal zone that we've been tracking, where we see Bitcoin really just get overextended from the moving averages. There's the 20, here's the 50-day moving average. Just been overextended, right? Now we're getting this move pulling into the 20-day moving average. I want to show you a quick clip from the other day. Check this out. Almost kind of got a candle like that the other day, if you remember right here. That was March 5th. But there really has not been too much of a cool down for Bitcoin. And my purpose of saying that isn't saying, hey, we're about to cool down, we're going to the 20-day moving average, but I do want to just say there is normalcy in a move like that, right? So there's normalcy. There's definitely normalcy in a move like that, and we're here. This is the move. It's happened. We were talking about overextension. We were even talking about how this candle kind of got a quick cool down, but generally this move that's finally happening, normal. And it's not just the 20-day moving average, right? We were looking at the last cycle, and this is the last cycle. Bitcoin almost at the same exact moment of time. That is to say, just breaking this lower high Fibonacci on the macro, the bull market doors, as I call them. You can see Bitcoin consolidated right after breaking through those doors, that channel that you see right here. And Bitcoin consolidated a couple times into the 20-day, between the 20 and the 50-day, and then it continued in the bull market. And the other thing we were referencing is just where Bitcoin was from a momentum perspective. Because the other day we were looking at the momentum oscillator, the slower moving momentum oscillator, and we were saying, you know what? Bitcoin's really just hanging out up here a lot in the overbought territory, right? Without cooling down too much. It's like not taking a chill pill. And we went to the last cycle and we said, we see Bitcoin, it cooled down a couple times, even just right to the top of those bull market doors. And along that journey, it cooled down out of the overbought territory. So, because there was a very similar type of vibe happening, Bitcoin on the daily being overbought, but finally it did cool down, right? And you see Bitcoin just falling, consolidating, before really just getting that next leg up in general on the momentum chart as well as the price chart. And that's the move. That's the move that I was discussing the other day. It would be normal if it happened. And now here we are, Bitcoin finally falling out of overbought. And right now, Bitcoin, as I do the video, we're sitting at around 58 on the RSI. You can see here slightly consolidated, but even then, hardly out of overbought. This is a little bit more of an aggressive move out of overbought and an aggressive consolidation move. So right now for Bitcoin, here's what I'm watching, especially because we're in this very similar time frame as the last cycle, right? Meaning we just broke these bull market doors, all-time high was just broken. But look what Bitcoin did around now back then, right? It really consolidated into the 20 and then just above the 50 for a very simple reference, and not even just because this happened last cycle, but in general, in a bullish environment, this is what I'd be watching. Those two areas. It's the 20 moving average, 20-day moving average, and the 50-day moving average. And just look where they are. You can just see the channels right here. So right now it's currently around $66,000 or so is the 20. The 50-day moving average currently around 54,000. Am I saying that Bitcoin's about to fall to 54,000? I mean, it could happen, right? Like that could happen in a day, right? That's a $13,000 fall. I don't think that's the move that's going to happen. But in general, I'm watching this range of support. The 50-day moving average will continue to move up towards Bitcoin, eventually be above the bull market door, the top of the bull market doors. And I'm just watching. Maybe Bitcoin gets support right here at the 20. Maybe it dips a little bit into the range, right? But that's the general range I'm watching for Bitcoin. Currently, it's around 54,000 to around $66,000 or so. That's the support range, consolidation range. I want to see the RSI cool off on Bitcoin. And in general, everybody, this is an exact move that we see in bull markets. There's going to be a lot of people that get very bearish because of the move. And that's fine. That's their reaction to it. But my reaction to it is very simply to see the data, to see where we are in the cycles. And as a massive reminder, and I should have started with this, we've not even had the Bitcoin halving. When I'm comparing last cycle and Bitcoin breaking the bull market doors and just getting ready to go parabolic, that historically has happened every cycle after the Bitcoin halving. Here's the Bitcoin halving, this line on the screen. That's 2020 Bitcoin halving. It happened after the Bitcoin halving. We're talking months after, right? This is the first cycle where this move that's playing out right now, it's happening before. We are incredibly early. I don't think people realize that. Right now, Bitcoin and Cardano and crypto in general, it actually shouldn't even be as high as it is right now. The power move that has happened has spoiled people. And I don't think people realize how early what is happening right now is happening. So that's what Bitcoin is looking like, looking incredibly healthy. Consolidation is an incredibly healthy thing, even in bull markets. You can go to a weekly chart and zoom out on Bitcoin, and you just go to every bull cycle. You will see red weekly candles, right? Here's a couple red weekly candles last cycle. Here's one. Here's one. Go to the cycle before that, even more red candles with even more volatility. If you remember the 2017 bull run, look at all this volatility, massive dips, right? So those moments are incredibly healthy for Bitcoin. And I just want to make a note of it. So that's what I'm watching on Bitcoin price. Pivoting over to ADA. I want to start on the ADA BTC. There are so many people. There's coins like Solana that are outperforming Cardano. That's just a reality. And I talked about in a video yesterday, Chainlink at this time last cycle was demolishing Cardano. I think like 7,000% gains at this point of the cycle, last cycle, and Cardano sitting at like 500% gains. So we're seeing similar type of things, different coins. But what I want to show you to start the ADA video, part of the video, is this. If we look at where ADA is on BTC pair, currently it bottomed out back here in October. Right now, we're trying to put in a higher low, right? We've been very much utilizing the bull market doors as an indicator of where we are in the cycle, right? So there's Bitcoin breaking the bull market doors, even breaking all-time high. Here's Bitcoin breaking the bull market doors and breaking all-time high last cycle. We're looking at November, December is the similar time zone. If we go to ADA BTC pair, let's look at November, December. Well, here's November. ADA got a little bit of a move to the upside, and check out December. ADA fell. So Bitcoin broke the bull market doors. Bitcoin broke all-time high, and ADA absolutely just looking terrible at that moment. Do you see a similar thing happening today? I do. It's exactly the same. ADA or Bitcoin just broke bull market doors. It just broke all-time high, and ADA looking just weak. What is going on? There's other altcoins that are crushing it, right? And last cycle, Chainlink was up 7,000% or so from bear market lows at this moment, and ADA is struggling. And it's like, man, ADA, I guess, is not going to do anything this cycle. And then we know what happened with ADA, right? So again, my videos and doing this, when there are concerns, I will say it. I will absolutely say it. But right now, I'm following and tracking the data. It's not copium. It does actually give some relief to actually see the repetition of the cycles, right? And same thing with Bitcoin and other cryptos in terms of where they are and the consistencies. But right now, ADA is performing exactly in the same way that it did last cycle. And I just want to point that out. So that's on the ADA BTC pair. And we'll wait, right? We'll wait to see what happens here. We'll continue tracking price. But let's pivot now and talk about ADA on the shorter term. What is going on with ADA, this move right now? Let's start with a clip from the other day. Check it out. And I'm watching the lower trend line. It's around 25 to 30% from where ADA is right now. That lower trend line is an exact repeat of last cycle in the same exact time of last cycle when Bitcoin's breaking all-time highs. I don't want to see it happen. I just know if it happened, I would be like, you got to be kidding me. Okay, so it hasn't happened yet, but ADA's consolidating. There's the lower trend line that we were watching. And I mentioned in the video, if the move happens, right, it would be an exact similar move at this point last cycle. And if I just on this daily chart really quickly go back and I look, what I'm talking about is at this moment, last cycle, and we're looking at, November 2020 into December 2020, ADA, we're waiting for, here's the move that we're waiting for, right? This explosive move right there, right? And a better picture is on the weekly chart, right? We're right around here. It's choppy. We're in these big weekly candles. That's where we are right now, right? So we're in this little move right here, this cycle around Bitcoin halving, all-time highs, all that stuff's happening right now. We're waiting for that big breakout. And at that moment last cycle, we were also waiting for the big breakout. But look, ADA was incredibly volatile. These candles, these are weekly candles. But just look at this. From the high of the candle to the low, we're looking at almost a 30% dip, right? 30% total range. And then, you know, that consolidation for around a month, there were 3 weekly red candles in this consolidation phase. That's where we are this cycle around, right? So we're in this consolidation phase, a couple red weekly candles so far. The 20-week moving average is all the way down here at 53 cents, right? So that's kind of where ADA is on the weekly. If we zoom back in on the daily, here's what I was referencing. I believe the move was, it was a 30% dip move that happened around this time last cycle. It was swing high to swing low. I think it was right around here. Look at that, 34% move for ADA. When ADA is looking weak, it's looking terrible. ADA not only looking terrible against the markets, against Bitcoin, ADA decides to fall 34%, right? And it was within, you can see kind of just within this pattern back there. And that's why if we go to the chart, if I zoom out and go to the chart, this time of the cycle, almost identical. We're in another pattern, a little bit different of structure, but right now ADA falling, right? So far from swing high, testing that breakout to where it is now, not 30%, right around 18%, but you can see to the downside, almost an identical dip is in play. That's why I say it would be normal. Not only is Cardano repeating itself, but it's not performing well against the rest of the market, against Bitcoin. People are getting frustrated. And not only is that happening kind of on the zoomed out, but on the short term, Cardano is just falling, right? And that's where we are right now. We're in that moment. It's happening. What happens next? I don't know. I do not know if this is going to repeat, right? Here's the lower trend line. Maybe we don't even get there. Maybe we get there and support falls and we fall down, and that's a new thing, right? Or maybe it does kind of repeat and we start making a move to the upside, because if you realize what happened after this consolidation phase, maybe in the next couple of weeks, what happened next is ADA finally did break out. I'm not sitting here saying, hey, next couple of weeks, ADA is going to make that move. But what I am saying is the structure and the consistency is not even just with the ADA chart, but in this crypto space in general, as we track Bitcoin charts and others, the consistencies have been insane, right? And here on the shorter term, this is just one more consistency. And I'm zooming out on the weekly to identify where we are in the cycle, right? We've identified it. But then I'm zooming in and the moves are so similar. So right now for ADA, it's the 50, because what I talked about, I think in yesterday or 2 days ago in the video, was 20-day moving average. That's failed. Here's the 50-day moving average. That is next around 62 cents. And then the lower trend line. These are the areas for consolidation for ADA that I'm watching. And so I just wanted to throw that out there. It's just a picture of the charts. For me, this is a visualization tool, so I get a sense of where we are in these markets. But one thing that I do know, as I mentioned on the Bitcoin, I think on the Bitcoin part of this video, is if we look at zoomed out on the weekly chart for ADA, and we kind of just, now this is the daily chart, of course. Let me go to the weekly. If we just get a glance of where ADA is this cycle around, right? Again, I know it's a mess, but here's Bitcoin halving. This time last cycle, we were here, and Bitcoin halving was all the way over here. We are early. The move that's happening for ADA, it's happening way earlier, right? So that's something that I continue to keep in mind on the macro. Those are my thoughts, everybody. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This is fun. This is fun tracking the consistencies and waiting for the next move, but at the same time, the volatility is something else. So please hit the subscribe, hit the like, turn notifications on. I will see you all in the next video. God bless.